Game week 14 is only 3 games old, but we really do need to start paying attention to game week 15 because if we do not use up all of our transfers prior to the game week 15 deadline, we won't get the full benefit of 5 extra topped up transfers for game week 16. And that's obviously for AFCON. I'm going to break that all down in this video. This is my early plans and my transfer plans and some other stuff that is just all going to be morphed into game week 15 because of the fact that the deadline is on Saturday morning. So we've only got a couple of days to think about it. We've already learned a fair bit from the 3 games we've seen. We're going to cover all that and more. Again, if you enjoy this content, make sure you smash a like on the video. Leave me a comment how your game week's going at the moment. And whether you're joining on the watch along later on today. There's 6 games tonight as well, folks. And if you haven't already, please smash that sub button. We're on the way to 5K and I can't do it without you guys. So let's get into it, folks. So the team, how's it going through the first part of game week 16? Sorry, 14. My God, the game week's all morphing into one. Well, we all know that I took a hit, right? I took a hit to get rid of Sarr and get rid of Senesi. And you could argue that I've probably not really gained a hell of a lot this particular week. But obviously, we'll look at what it sets up for next week. But it does still look pretty good. I mean, I was kind of lucky. Bruno Guimaraes came off the bench at halftime and scored an absolute beautiful goal on the watch-along. And at one point, he was on for 8 points after Newcastle conceded. The disappointing bit here, though, was Malik Jow, who, to be fair, I didn't think Spurs were going to actually offer anything in this game. And they scored 2 goals off 0.69 XG or whatever it was. And that was not what the doctor ordered. I was kind of hoping for a clean sheet. So that was disappointing. Obviously, Pope didn't play. I knew that was going to happen. Petrovic, obviously, he was disappointing. Conceding that 1 goal, I mean, it was a deflected goal to Jack Grealish. That is what it is. And alas, that's why, I probably need to make a goalkeeper transfer this week. But yeah, Petrovic, 2 points. Bournemouth were in the bin as well. I mean, Bournemouth's form has really just dived off a cliff at the moment. But then let's talk about the other disappointing thing. Nico O'Reilly somehow conceding 4 goals. Are you kidding me? Fulham, who we all know I don't have much love for, they showed up in this game and they really gave Man City a fright. Now, I still don't know quite how they scored 4 goals from 0.73 XG, but watching that game, the underlying stats like that don't tell the story. Fulham would not have been... They wouldn't have felt like they'd robbed anything if they'd actually got a 5th goal. Fulham, every time they went forward in that second half, they were going to score. It was unbelievable. And I don't think the XG stats really tell quite the story there, but also doesn't tell quite the story the other way. Obviously, we can see the 2 big elephants in the room. Erling Haaland, 14-pointer, 1 goal, 2 assists. And my boy, Phil Foden, I tell you what, folks, the algorithms, the other content creators, the cartel, they don't want you to buy Phil Foden because they don't like the risk. But they're going to be forced into it because the masses are going to move because the masses know the D-Unit was onto something. And yes, you could sit there and say it's weird that I'm a Man United fan and I've got this love obsession with Phil Foden, whatever you want to call it. But when he goes back-to-back braces and just it literally is shooting my rank upwards, why would you not get excited? So that was really good. I mean, I can't believe... in theory, Haaland really should have another goal and probably should have been on 18 points. And Phil Foden arguably should have got an assist because he laid it on for Haaland beautifully in the first bit of the game. And to be honest, it could have been more. It was one of the most weirdest games I've watched in a long time. And 9 goals. I'm glad that it was not on the weekend. I would have done 3 shots from the one game. I don't know if I would have woken up the next day. But yeah, that was a really good game of football. But from 3 games having played, obviously I've got 6 players having already completed. Arguably, I wish the Descartes had just picked Phil Foden captain instead of Bruno because, my God, I would be sitting here just not worried about anything at all. And I'm not really worried anyway because, I do expect Bruno to do probably... I know his record against West Ham's not that good. I know that FPL Olympian captained him. And I know Let's Talk FPL, Andy captained him as well. So I'm probably going to get a blank because it's very hard to take these kind of people on and get away with it. So I'm just hoping that it does come good here and that Bruno can deliver on Thursday night. But other than that, I feel like I've got 2 Crystal Palace players tonight. And yes, obviously the rank is going to be, it's going to have to be weird because obviously a lot of players haven't played yet. Chelsea haven't played, Arsenal haven't played, Thiago and all them are on the bench. But I feel like we also got a hint of what is likely to happen. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way the game week has gone so far. And again, we've taken a hint and it looks like potentially it might pay off once more. So Game Week 14 and 15 is being sponsored by Footium. They had the hard launch yesterday. We had the live reveals of both my clubs, Dahlia and South Park, and the academies live on the streams yesterday. I have one on the deadline stream and we have one on the live watch along. So make sure you go and check it out. It's really good. It helps me out as well. There's obviously a barcode there if you want to actually buy a club, and I bought a club myself, and that's what I'm literally starting in Division 8. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get up to Division 1. Watch this, South Park are on the move this season. We're going for the promotion push. So yeah, there's pre-season's on at the moment. You can also go and check it out. Use that link there, but you don't have to literally. You can actually, what do you call it? You can go as a caretaker manager. You can apply to be a caretaker manager. And you can actually, if you win the caretaker manager league, you get a club for free. So even better, go and check it out. Lots of FPL players actually play it as well. And it's like LMA Manager mixed with FIFA Ultimate Team. It's a great way. Go and check them out. They are sponsoring the channel this week. And thank you very much, guys. So on to the flop and star of the week. And look, this was an easy flop. I think this is arguably what it's going to be regardless. Now, I know that Nico O'Reilly got 0 points. That was disappointing, but and maybe he should have been the flop. But I really bought Malik Jow thinking that this was going to be a clean sheet. I had this penciled in as a clean sheet. I just thought that Fulham might score against City. So when he literally conceded twice of 0.79 XG and didn't get anywhere near the 10 DC, and then Dan Burn gets it, Lewis Hall gets it, Malik Jow gets nothing. Yes, that might have something to do with the fact that Spurs played Kudos, and Kudos kept on crossing from the right and couldn't beat Hall and Burn out there. But Malik Jow, I mean, are you kidding me? 1 point. That is not what the doctor ordered, mate. So, disappointing. Obviously, I didn't just buy him for this week. Obviously bought him for the weekend as well when they've got Burnley at home. And you'd like to think that they can keep a clean sheet at home against Burnley. Because if they can't do that, I've made a big error. But it's safe to say at the moment, that part of the hit has definitely not worked out. Bruno Guimaraes, he gets a pass, even though he stayed on the bench because he did come on and he scored. And he kind of covered the -4. Like, the two of them combined got me 8 points. You split it amongst them. It's literally, they both blanked. And like everyone gets blanks in their teams every single week. The star, though, for the second game week in a row, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes nuclear again. So this is what Phil Foden does. He gets a haul. Then he backs it up and beats it by getting an even bigger haul. And then he goes bigger again. I would not be surprised if this man scored a hat-trick on the weekend or got like a 20-pointer or a 19-pointer or something. He looks incredible. He is the reason why Man City is scoring so many goals. Yes, Haaland's quite often on the end of him, but this man is the conductor. He's the conductor of the Man City orchestra. And again, look at the stats. 0.73 XGC. So that's how I don't know how they conceded 4 goals. That didn't make any sense. But from 0.45 XG, he scored twice. He really should have had an assist at 0.19 expected assists, and Haaland literally let him down there. And he got 13 DC, he even racked up 2 extra bonus points for DC. This man did it all, 17 points. Bruno, the pressure is on, mate, to deliver a 17-pointer. Now, Bruno Fernandes versus Haaland, I've never lost that captaincy battle. At the moment, Bruno's going to have to pull his finger out and deliver one of the all-time performances. And the fact he's never scored against West Ham, either my record taken on Haaland with Bruno Fernandes is going to end, or Bruno Fernandes scoring against West Ham, that record is going to end. So hopefully it's the latter and Bruno delivers at a performance. But Phil Foden, he is running hot, boys and girls, and he is, again, an easy star of the week for the D-Unit. So the game week 14 card calls, and we've already had 2 of these decided. So Lewis Hall's actually beaten Nico O'Reilly. Lewis Hall got the DC points, got 3 points there, whereas O'Reilly conceded 4 goals and got none. Now, the other one that's already been decided as well is Bruno Guimaraes versus Barnes. Barnes obviously didn't get anything in this game, and Bruno Guimaraes came off the bench and scored, easily beating him. So the card, with me throwing it, has all of a sudden started to turn its luck around. Can it continue to do so for the duration of the game week? Now, I'm definitely hoping so in regards to the captaincy, because if Bruno Fernandes beats Foden captain, I'm on for an all-time green arrow. So hopefully, no pressure, Bruno. Hopefully you get the message and you deliver the goods, mate. So my early reactions from game week 15, this, as usual, is another game week where we've seen that you can beat Haaland. We've only had 3 games being played, and already Phil Foden has smashed him into oblivion, beating him by a big 3 points, which is the equivalent of an extra assist, folks. So, yeah, he's just showing him. And again, I've said this every single week. There has been someone better than Haaland. You don't just have to go and captain him. Yes, he was really good, and I would definitely have taken 14 points from my captain this week. I'm not saying he was a bad captain. I'm just saying that you can take him on. And to anyone out there that took on Haaland with Phil Foden, congratulations. I wish that I'd done that myself, and I'm so glad for anyone that's gone back-to-back captains on him. I'm just glad that I've got the 32 points that he's delivered the last 2 game weeks. So that's better than nothing. Maybe I didn't want to put the pressure on him by putting the captaincy on him, so I just wanted to let him run free because I knew it was a really good differential still. Now, as predicted, there were really bizarre benchings, and I think we will see more of the same tonight. So Bruno Guimaraes, Mickey van der Ven were among the big names that I did not expect to get benched and got benched in that Newcastle versus Spurs game. Obviously, Cherky was on the bench again, and literally, I did predict that Pep Roulette is not a thing. This season in the Premier League, he's been very consistent. He's been picking the same team. And all the other content creators need to start waking up, maybe watch a couple of City games and work out that Pep's actually not doing Pep Roulette that much. He might be doing 1 or 2 changes every now and again, but it's a very, very settled team. And I don't think that's going to change. They are chasing Arsenal. They are not on top of the table. They can't afford to be dropping points. So that means that the best players will be playing. And if anything, like, you know, I don't understand why people think that they're going to get rotated. But yeah, I just think that we are going to see more benchings tonight. Don't be surprised. I mean, when I look at the Liverpool game, for example, you'd think Mo Salah potentially comes back in, and that means someone else that maybe is quite well owned, maybe a Gakpo, maybe a Szoboszlai or whatever, and Isaac, maybe they get rotated to the bench. People are going to be annoyed by that. It's going to happen. Just be prepared for it. And it's going to be random players that you thought were going to be fine that weren't fine. So yeah, it's something to think, and I think it's going to happen. And again, just be bold. Just be bold in general. I think that there's a lot of people that sit there like it, and Trig, I'm going to call him out in this, that talks about risk evasion. Like, I've got to protect my rank. Well, if you're protecting your rank, you're not going to win FPL, mate. So at the end of the day, if you're inside the top 100,000 teams, I'd be playing like a lunatic trying to get up to number 1. The dude that's leading the D-Unit mini league is currently up to 50 overall rank. And guess who he captained? You better believe it. He captained Phil Foden, folks. So be bold. You will be rewarded. And that is how you will win FPL. It's not by playing it safe. It's by having a bit of aggression and hoping that the luck just happens to be on your side. Oh, and then lastly, Bournemouth, from the games I've watched, they look unbelievably woeful and completely bang out of form, and that is very concerning for Bournemouth, considering they're not even in Europe. They haven't got the build-up of games really as an excuse. So the most important thing to do this week is spend your transfers. Now, I am aware that some people's teams might actually be pretty good, and you don't actually know what you want to do with your transfers, and you're concerned that, you know, you're going to wreck your team. And I've been there. I remember when I wildcarded in game week 19, not last season, the season before, I was inside the top 10K and I really didn't need a wildcard. I wildcarded in game week 19. I changed my team and my team sucked. And I literally went from like 10K and I just finished just outside the top 100. But if I trace back that, it was to when game week 19, when I played that wildcard and it just did not go well. So it's a double-edged sword. Game week 15 is the week where you have to use every rolled transfer. If you've got 5, you need to use all 5. If you've got 3, you need to use all 3. Because the way it works is that when that game week, when game week 16 opens, post the game week 5 as 15 deadline going to sleep and then waking up when the game reopens, everyone will get 5 free transfers. You'll open it up and you'll have 5 free transfers in your kitty, ready to spend on game week 16, whether you've got African players going away to African Cup of Nations or you've got none. You'll get 5. If you've got 5 and you roll 5, you're not going to get 10. You do not get extra transfers on top of the ones that you have in game week 15 if you don't use them. So if you're thinking you're going to be a genius and I'm going to roll 4 transfers into game week 16, alas, you only get 1 extra bonus, exactly how you'd get in any other normal week, and you'll still only have 5. So it's very important that prior to the deadline, if you want to use your transfers and you want to get the full maximum value, make sure you use them up. Just use them. Because in game week 16, as soon as the game opens, you'll have the 5 free transfers topped up in your thing. And the other thing to note here is that game week 15 and 16 and maybe even 17 are going to be extremely volatile for price changes. Why? Because everyone will be being forced to use at least one transfer a week. So the best thing to do here is probably, if you think your team's amazing, take 1 week punts on teams playing Wolves, on teams playing Leeds or Fulham or Spurs or whoever it is that you think's going to bang for that 1 week. It's a good way of using the transfer, and I think that's a real needs based in your team. Like some people's teams will need some surgery, which these extra transfers are going to help. But other teams, the teams look fine. So it's one of those things. But if you don't use them, you're not going to get them. So if you want 10 transfers over the next 2 weeks and you've rolled 5, by all means, spend 5 in game week 15 when you've got your 5 free transfers, roll ones, and then you're going to get another 5. You can literally do a mini wild card. Not many people have rolled till 5 transfers, but if you have been in the luxury, make sure you use them. Otherwise, you're not going to gain any benefit from that. So on to the fixture difficulty rating then for game weeks 15 to 20. And look, I've moved Liverpool to the top of the fixture ticker. Now, based on the fixtures alone, it's hard to argue that Liverpool's fixtures are not the best now currently in the league for the foreseeable future. I mean, they've got Leeds home and away, they've got Tottenham away, they've got Wolves at home, they've got Fulham away, and Brighton at home. I mean, if there was ever a run of fixtures that's actually going to bring a team back from the brink like Liverpool are and get them back into form, this is it. Will that happen though? That is the key question. I'm still not convinced. Obviously, I want to see Liverpool play tonight against Sunderland. Maybe post then I'll be a little bit more convinced. But at the moment, folks, I'm still very much, I need to see some more form before I go there. Brentford then have an amazing run of fixtures. They've got Spurs home and away, which should be a nice fixture for them. Leeds at home, Wolves away, 4 of the next 6. And then the other ones are Bournemouth at home and literally have gone off the boil. Maybe that might be a green fixture by the time game week 18 comes around. And Everton away in 20. So Brentford have an amazing run of fixtures as well. They go up to second for me. Crystal Palace go back to third from first. I think they are going to start getting tired, and that's going to be interesting to monitor. And with that backlog of games, yes, it might be Leeds, Tottenham, Fulham, but they might just dive off a cliff and we might have to sell them regardless of the fixtures. Then Man United, I've knocked them down to 4th. I mean, Wolves home and away in the next 5 games is pretty good, and Leeds away in 20. That's also followed by Burnley. So it's a really nice run of fixtures for United if we included 21 as well, and maybe they should be higher up. And with Bournemouth at home in 16, I mean, there's every chance that that's an easy fixture by then as well, based on what we're seeing. Then Newcastle, I've moved them up to 5th now. They do have some nice fixtures here. I mean, Burnley home and away, 15-19. That is a very nice fixture. The other ones are a bit middling, but it's not bad. Forest, they're okay. Brighton, maybe I've done Brighton a little bit of a disservice because they've got West Ham home and away and Burnley at home. But I looked at also Liverpool, Sunderland, Arsenal. That's not an easy 3 fixtures. So 16, 17, 18, not ideal. But the other 3 are amazing. So I kind of left them there. Chelsea and Man City, their fixtures are starting to go down now, along with Spurs. Arsenal and Fulham, they're okay. I mean, Burnley, maybe I'm doing them a bit of a disservice, but I don't think their fixtures are easy, and I just don't think they're going to be that good. Leeds, ditto. Their fixtures do get a little bit easier, but not that good. And then the rest of the teams, I mean, Bournemouth I've put down the bottom because I think that Chelsea home and away and Arsenal at home, Man United away is not very good fixtures. Same for Aston Villa. Arsenal home and away, Chelsea away, Man United at home. Not good fixtures. So yeah, that's the updated fixture difficulty rating. Let me know what you think of it in the comments and whether I'm saying it right or not. So the Pubcast, I'm not going to cover this bit because this is exactly the same bit that I did before game week 14. But FYI, if Phil Foden was allowed again and I could have picked him again, I would have picked him again. And my God, I'd be miles in front of the leaderboard right now. But alas, we did not. And let's see how we got on so far for the players that have played in game week 14. So, obviously my player has played Anthony Gordon. He came off the bench and actually got the penalty. So he ended up with 6 points, which is pretty nice. Again, a return. So that's 2 returns in 2 weeks for me, picking under 5%. Bruno Guimaraes. Kanji was lucky that he finished below me because if you finish last in that week or in the position, that's the order we pick in. So because I finished first, I picked last. So I picked Gordon and it turned out that he was actually half decent. He picked Bruno Guimaraes again, who started on the bench, but he came on and scored an open play, and that was enough to get 1 bonus point. So he got 7. So at the moment, Kanji's actually beaten me. The rest haven't played. Isaac, actually, even Ilson played. He started on the bench. So Roberto's just having a rotten run of luck. He's picking complete duds, so he's just been no good. And then Elliot Anderson, Cunha and Isaac, they all play tonight or tomorrow, so we don't know how quite well Trig, Andrew, and Gary went. But I don't think they're going to be beating us. I've got a sneaky suspicion. So on to the differentials for Game Week 15. And look, there's a bit of people just stealing other people's picks this week because they were still under 5% owned. So Trig's gone with Isaac, who's now up to 5% owned. People obviously jumping on thinking that he's going to be good. I personally think that Trig's nailed it because I reckon Isaac gets benched tonight and Gary's going to be disappointed. And I reckon he starts on the weekend against Leeds. That's just me with a crystal ball, and I think like Trig might have nailed this one. This might be a really good fixture for him. Then Andrew's stolen Trig's pick of Cunha for the Wolves away game, and I don't mind this one. Wolves away, obviously Cunha moved from Wolves. It's got a bit of a narrative there that maybe he'll return. Again, he's up to 3.6% ownership. We still don't know if he's going to play on Thursday, but you would think that probably is if it was just a concussion issue. And then Jacob Murphy, I've given to Roberto because Roberto did not get to me in time before I made this video. So I picked Jacob Murphy because I think he'll start against Burnley. And I reckon there's a strong chance he's going to go big. So Roberto, if your pick comes in over mine, you can thank me later. Then we've got Raul Jimenez. That's Gary's pick this week. He was the first one in because obviously we're running short of time because, you know, Game Week 14, 15, all very put together. So Raul Jimenez there. I don't quite know why he's gone for Raul Jimenez. Review must have told him and spat it out to him. I just don't think they're going to do much against that Palace defence. I've got no issues there. But then again, Fulham did score 4 goals tonight, so maybe... But I think Palace defend better than City, if you want my honest opinion. Then, Kanji stolen my Gordon pick, and he's rolling with Gordon. And I think Gordon probably starts on the weekend, and I think that he could be going big against Burnley as well. So maybe he's got one over me there. And I've gone for Mason Mount. Why? No idea. Other than the fact that I looked at the United players and I thought, you know, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Amat, they're all possibilities. I don't mind any of them. Wolves away. We should be scoring goals. I even considered, you're not going to believe this, I even considered putting Joshua Zirkzee there. I know I've completely lost the plot, but when it's a one-off punt for a game week, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. And Joshua Zirkzee, you know, never know. He might score again on Thursday night and then he's all of a sudden in form and the D-Unit's eating his words and eating some humble pie. You don't know. So how's the best one-week punts going? At the moment, 3 of the 4 have not played. So Cole Palmer plays tonight, hopefully, against Leeds. Isaac obviously plays away, at home against Sunderland. Again, he could be on the bench now. The more I think about it, I don't know why I actually picked him there. And then Milinkovic, Wolves away. I'm very excited about what he can do from a defensive standpoint. And if he delivers, I'll be annoyed with myself because I could easily have gone for Milinkovic instead of João. So I couldn't have. He would cost too much money. So I couldn't have done that. I wouldn't have been able to go Bruno Guimaraes. I would have to go for like a Minte or an Anderson or something like that. But Phil Foden, 2nd week running, 1 week punt. He probably won't be able to feature this week because he'll probably be over 10% owned by the time I put that one together in tomorrow's video. But Phil Foden's been incredible, folks. And he's delivered 15 and 17 points. That's 32 points from one of my midfielders. 2 weeks in a row, 1 week punt, under 10% owned. I mean, you don't get much better than that, folks. You don't get much better than that. So my top 5 players to buy then in Game Week 15, and these are the 5. I've now got Phil Foden as definitely the number 1 player in the game to buy, which Q, he will blank this weekend because lots of people are bringing him in. They'll probably get benched. But it's just a no-brainer at this point. At the start of the season, I really loved him. I've been hot on him all year, and it's about time he started delivering the returns, and there's one way to do it, and that's just clump them all up, baby. So yeah, I think he is the number 1 player to buy this week. Bruno Fernandes, I haven't seen what's happened on Thursday night because obviously it's 2 days from now, but I think he'll also be really good. Wolves away is a very nice fixture to be buying him for as well. And he's finally gone back to the price I bought him at, which is very nice, 9 million. Welbeck, I think he should be great. I would imagine potentially Welbeck might be one of the ones that gets rested or rotated to the bench midweek tonight. But I could be wrong. Maybe he starts. If he does, then maybe he's not the player to buy this weekend. But if he does get benched, which I think is possible, he's a great player to own this weekend. West Ham at home is a very nice fixture. Then I've gone with Tarkowski. No one's really talked about him because he's gone off the boil or whatever. And he's kind of expensive at 5.4. But I think Everton's fixtures, you can actually play him next week against Forest, and there's another one in a couple of weeks you can play him in. And then from 19 onwards, it's actually a really nice fixture run for Everton. And Tarkowski's just nailed, and there's so much good stuff about him, and I just think he's going to continue ticking over. And then Lewis Hall. We've seen him start 2 games in a row, and by God, Newcastle looks so much better with Lewis Hall in the team. His delivery, his creation, his threat, his goal threat, his assist threat, it's all there. 5.2 million. I owned the man last year, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I feel like with Burnley at home, it's a great fixture to buy him for. And yes, I bought Malik Jar myself, but that's again because I just didn't have the extra money to get to Lewis Hall and bring in Bruno Guimaraes. Other players you can consider, Burn was back with a bang, won the penalty, got an assist there. O'Reilly's still a pretty good buy. So is Doku, Cunha, Minte, Casemiro, Milenkovic, Chalobah, and I think Saka, with game week 16 looming on the horizon, could be a really good captaincy shout that week, and potentially that's a move you might want to do. So one of my top 5 players are selling. There's barely any movement here at all. 4 of the 5 from game week 14 are still there. So Sarr, he's no good. He needs to be moved. Pope, no good. He needs to be moved. I've already moved him, FYI. We'll talk about that in a minute. And Caicedo, he's suspended for another 2 games, and his price is dropping at a rapid rate of knots. So he's an easy sell as well. And then Mickey van der Ven gets benched against Newcastle. If that wasn't an invitation to sell him, I don't know what was. He's down to 4.7 million now as well. And these guys are just going to continuously drip and cost you team value. And I'd still sell Mo Salah. If you've held on this long, you've got the chance as you're about to get extras, this is the time to flog him. Yes, I know he's got leads away, but the man is not in form and he costs an obscene amount of money, and that money is better off spent elsewhere when you get those transfers. So easy sell. And Boomer, obviously, and Ndai with the African Cup of Nations around the corner, they are also sells. João Pedro Porro, Virgil. I still don't rate Virgil or Szoboszlai. As I said, I need to be convinced by Liverpool before I sit there and start saying they're all right as assets. I just think they're over expensive, and you're better off getting other assets at that price. Cherky, unfortunately, that punt did not work. It doesn't look like he's in Pep's 11, consistent 11. And then Senesi. I just don't think that Bournemouth are going to be keeping clean sheets anytime soon based off what I've watched the last few games, and that means even regardless that he's no longer suspended and available, I think he's probably now a sell. So on my Game Week 15 watch list, and there's barely any change from Game Week 14, but I have added Tarkowski and Grealish. I am quite interested in Jack Grealish. I know a lot of people have gone cold on him, but every time I watch Everton, and I watched them all today for like most of that game in the live watch along, and he just impressed me. Every time he gets the ball, it looks like something's going to happen. Yes, I know a lot of people think, but Dyer's about to go away to African Cup of Nations, so it makes sense to have a look at Jack Grealish, and I think he could be really good. Voltemata impressed me as well. I don't know how he only just ended up on an assist, and obviously we now know for a fact that if him and Gordon are both on the field, Gordon is 100% the penalty taker. There is no ifs, buts, maybes. Voltemata's not the penalty taker. The only way he's taking a penalty is if Gordon is on the bench or injured or suspended. So I don't mind him as well. He also comes into the reckoning, and Tarkowski obviously comes in there as well. I was very impressed by what I saw last night, and it does look like Everton, I was concerned about their away form, that's now back-to-back 1-0 wins away from home. So they went to Old Trafford at the start of the week, last week, and beat Man United 1-0 with 10 men per se. And now they've gone to Bournemouth and won their 1-0 as well. So I've just been slightly impressed. Yes, I know they got obliterated by Newcastle at home. So that's going to be something to monitor if they play better away than they do at home. But they started off the season really well at home. So I think that we can possibly start looking to go back to Everton assets over the coming weeks, and I don't mind them. The rest, there's no change. I don't think there's really any other players I'm really interested in. I'm actually really quite happy with my team as things stand. So what moves am I looking at with my one free transfer that I need to get rid of, folks? I need to use my transfer. So the most glaring, obvious issue in my team is the goalkeeping department. Pope's obviously out injured, not expected back for a good couple of weeks, which means that I'm relying on Petrovic. And I've looked at Petrovic. They've got Chelsea up next to home. Then they go away to Manchester United. I do not want to be playing Petrovic while I wait to see if Pope comes back and actually wins his place back in the team. So for that reason, I'm moving him. And I looked at the fixtures. Originally, I was looking at a Henderson and a Petrovic rotation. Then I was like, no, that's not going to work. Then I looked at Sanchez from Chelsea because I was like, that's a good way of getting back in the Chelsea defence. He seems pretty nailed, 4.8 mil. That's a pretty cheap way to covering it. I looked at Sells from Nottingham Forest. And then I went back to my mate, Bart Simpson. So I gave Bart a ring and I said, is there any chance that you might actually be able to keep me a clean sheet? Now, he said that he'd take time off from recording The Simpsons in order to sit there and try his absolute best in game week 15 to keep a clean sheet against West Ham. So, Bart Simpson, it's over to you, baby. I'm hoping you deliver the goods. So, my one free transfer is locked and loaded. That is it. It's Pope to Verbruggen. Now, and that will be my one move because obviously confirmed it, right? That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be playing Bart Verbruggen this week as well. The next combination of moves are based off a couple of different factors. So I still don't really like my defense. It's the one area of the team I'm not overly happy with. I just don't seem to be getting clean sheets or, consistent returns from it. I think that's half of the reason why my rank is still quite low down is because I just can't nail the defenders. The forwards and midfielders, they're doing the business. It's defense I need to try and sort out. So with the money I saved from Pope to Verbruggen, that gives you 0.8 million in the bank. I can then go Munoz to Jurriën Timber, which will get me back on board with the Arsenal defence, which feels quite nice because that does seem like a consistent defence in terms of keeping clean sheets. They are away at Villa though, so it's not the most ideal fixture. And the only reason why I would sell Munoz this week is because he could get suspended. Like he could get a yellow card against Burnley and then all of a sudden I'm back to playing not a very good defender this week, and that might force me into a hit, a bit like what it did this week. Then the other option is I could take a -8 and just fix up the defence entirely. So moving Munoz to Lacroix would give me even more money to then spend on upgrading Mukiele to Chalobah, who you could tell I'm really regretting selling Chalobah when I really should have just sold Senesi that week and just taken the -8 then. That would have made so much more sense. And it's just kind of leading into some weird, wondrous ways. But to be honest with you, I keep taking hits. I keep getting green arrows. So if that continues, I'm just going to keep doing it. So I don't really care. But yeah, Mukiele to Chalobah is also something that I am considering. It just depends again on whether Munoz gets suspended or not. If he doesn't get suspended, it's a no-brainer. I play him in game week 15 and then I can start pissing around with moves like that in game week 16 when I've got the extra transfers. So yeah, I think that's possibly what I'm looking at. Also, I've also looked at away and we'll look at my team now of what I'm planning for this week in game week 15 and moving forward. So game week 15, the move I've done at the moment, obviously I've got 0.8 million in the bank. I've done Nick Pope out, Bart Simpson in. He's starting in goal, so hopefully the Simpsons takes care of me. That's my first Brighton player I've actually owned this year outside of De Kuyper, so I'm hoping it's a good way to get back involved. And the rest of the team this week, for want of a better lie, looks really good on paper again. I have got Haaland captain at the moment. Phil Foden is the vice captain at home to Sunderland. I'm just backing them in. They're in such hot form in terms of attacking wise. I think that they will do really well. My United boys go away to Wolves. That looks like a really nice fixture. And Mateta and Munoz go away to Fulham. And I think that's also quite a nice fixture based on what I saw last night. Fulham's defence is rubbish. Then Newcastle obviously have Burnley at home. That does look like a really nice fixture. And then Verbruggen at home to West Ham. Really good chance there, hopefully, of a clean sheet. My biggest conundrum is Thiago and Van den Berg. Now, I don't think Spurs away is a bad fixture at all. I actually think that it's a really good fixture for both of them. The biggest concern I've got, this is the first time that Brentford would have played 3 games in a row this season, like in the space of a week, probably their first team. Will they be tired? Will Spurs be able to exploit that? Part of me is also like, do I just bench Rice for Thiago and just back in the Brentford are actually going to go to Spurs and beat them or at least score a goal, which to be honest, at the moment, that's what I think is more likely to happen. So yeah, that's what I think I'm likely to do. Now, moving into game week 16, when I get my 5 free transfers, the plan is to sell Mateta to Welbeck, sell Mbumo to Saka, and then do those other 2 moves and fix up the defence. So I'll be Munoz down potentially to Lacroix or to Timber, and then Mukiele up to someone. So I have the money. I've done some forward planning about what I'm going to do. I might not even need to free hit in game week 16. I might just pick it on a really wacky week between now and game week 19 and just play it and hope that it comes in. Because the more and more I play like from week to week and with these extra transfers, I'm going to use them. I said originally at the start of the season, when I get the 5 free transfers, instead of rolling them, I'm going to be aggressive and use them. Because we already know who's going to be in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and I'm going to base my team about who I think will win it and get through to the final, and therefore who will blank and who won't blank. So that's what I'm just going to back my judgment in. I did it last year, it worked. This year I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to roll with it. So, and the fact I get 5 extra transfers means I can be aggressive, which is why now I might not even free hit in 16. Because I could get lots of price rises and changes in game week 16 when they all come in. People are happy spending the transfers, a bit like what I'm going to be doing. And I can make really good team value. I'm already up to like almost 104 mil now. It just feels like a really good idea. So that's what I'm looking at. And the team for game week 15, as things stand, prior to watching the rest of the games, looks pretty good. And I've got no problems there. So I'm quite happy with it. I even got good bench coverage. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if someone missed out and Thiago came on or Vandenberg came on. Like, even Mukiele against Man City, I reckon he gets a DC in that game quite comfortably. So, yeah, that's what I think. And I'm pretty happy about what the team's looking like moving forward. So that brings me to the end of my Game Week 15 transfer plans and where I'm going and the importance of using your transfers this week before you get those 5 free transfers for AFCON players that are leaving, even though you might not have any. And a bit like me, I've only got 1 left in my team now that I have to worry about selling. So that's really good. So that's the plan for me and my team. Hopefully you're on a green arrow. Let me know how you're going this game week. Hopefully I'll see you on the live watch along again this morning when we've got 6 games kicking off simultaneously. Watch out. I've already scheduled it. And if you've enjoyed that, smash a like. Thank you to Footium for sponsoring the videos and the channel this week. And go and check them out. You can check the Caretaker Manager stuff for free. And if you haven't already smashed that sub button, please consider doing so. I'll see you on the live watch along. Have a good Wednesday evening. I'll see you soon.